Hey, what's up, world? Rodney Carr here with Average Man of High Value. Today's trait we're going to be talking about is intelligence. That is the sixth trait in defining the characteristics of a high value man. Intelligence is commonly interchanged with the word knowledge, however, they mean completely different things. But before we dive too far into any of this, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Any comment, good, bad, indifferent, I don't care. Let's just talk about some of this stuff and really get to understand where we're coming from. And also remember the upcoming podcast. Now let's dive into the word intelligence. First thing we need to understand is it has two meanings. One of the meaning pertains to military or political information. That's not really anything we need to talk about at the moment. The other one is what we need to get into, and that meaning is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Random thought here. Same word, two complete definitions. This happens a lot. This kind of tells me we do not have enough words in our language, which makes it extra important to clearly define what you were trying to say to somebody. Figure out what meaning you actually mean when you're talking about the word. Our language is hard, even for adults and people that have been speaking it our whole lives. Now, let's get back to it. Ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. There's a few words we need to understand. They are going to be acquire, ability, apply, knowledge, and skills. Let's start with ability, since that's the first one. The ability to acquire. We'll just take them in order. Ability is possession of the means or skill to do something. So possession means have, own, like that's what it's talking about right now. We're not talking about demons living in us and Satan making us do things. Not that type of possession, but like the type of possession of, this is my ginger ale. I have the ability to drink this ginger ale. That's what possession is. So you could say have the means or skill to do something. That's going to be ability. Now we need to look at acquire. Acquire is pretty simple meaning. It's to learn or develop, particularly in a skill or quality, something like that. But you learn and develop. Which brings us into apply. There's a couple different versions of this word too. Like you can go apply for a job. You put in your application for a job, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about be applicable or relevant. Applicable or relevant. So what do those two words mean? Applicable is going to be relevant or appropriate, which means suitable or proper in the circumstance. So applicable would be appropriate. Relevant was used in that. We're getting ready to define that anyways. Relevant is closely connected or appropriate to what is being considered. So to be able to apply, you have to be able to be relevant. It has to matter to what you're doing. Which brings us to our next word, which is knowledge. See how they're two different meanings? Intelligence and knowledge aren't the same thing. Knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. The theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. It has another definition, but they're basically saying the same exact thing, so we just went with one of them for time purposes. But facts, information, and skill acquired by a person through experience or education, theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. So knowledge is something that you acquired. You learned or developed it. It is not intelligence. And then skills. That is the ability to do something well. So now that we've figured all of that out, let's repackage this and see if it sounds even remotely the same. Remember, the initial way we said it out of the dictionary is the ability to acquire or apply knowledge and skills. After we repackage it with breaking down all of those words, intelligence is the means to learn or develop a habit or quality and use facts, information, or means to do something well in its proper or suitable place. Now, see, that's how we get to the bottom of a word. This brings me to a whole lot of points. Let's stop mixing up intelligence and what people know. People know things or gain the knowledge from being intelligent. Just because you know a lot of things doesn't really make you smart. It means you were diligent to figure it out. You had the drive. You had a work ethic to get it. Some people don't have to do that, and they can just pick it up just by hearing it one time, doing it one time. Those people have a different intelligence level. So we have to remember that. We have to understand what our intelligence level is, and we have to work within our intelligence level to get to our goals. All of these things, all of these traits are things that all men should have inside them. We've just forgotten how to utilize them. So I think it's important to get back to the bottom of what they're exactly meaning so we know how to better ourselves. And as soon as we better ourselves, we will be bettering the world. Just remember that. Love y'all. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you so very much.